This tutorial will be an explanation that covers the entire advanced any% speedrun route as well as all of the movement tech and tricks involved. I am making this tutorial with the intention that you already have some experience with the game, its movement, and speedrunning itself, but even if you are a beginner, feel free to challenge yourself. I am aware of other resources out there, and I'll try to link every single one of them in the description, from the Super Mario Odyssey speedrunning Discord to the fantastic series that Dance to 2106 another top runner is working on. The purpose of this is to provide a central resource that offers longevity and helps people interested in speedrunning the game take their skill to the next level. The current world record at the time of recording this is a 56:55. At bare minimum, you will be able to beat this game in under an hour with what is provided with this tutorial. I've spliced together a demonstration run that I'll not only be using for this tutorial, but I will be linking in the description, so I highly recommend using that as well after this tutorial, as well as all the other resources provided. This is what I like to call an advanced demonstration. This run will pull off advanced strats and movement strategies without any fatal errors, but I'm hoping that you, the viewer, will notice that there are plenty of small things that can be improved upon in this advanced demonstration. To fill in those gaps, I will be releasing a world record analysis in a separate video soon. Finally, if you don't pick up what is done in the tutorial quickly, don't be discouraged. All of this stuff is very difficult and it will really just take some time to practice and get down. Before we start the run, we are going to be doing a trick called DSTA, or Daylight Savings Time Abuse. This means that we will be setting our timer to a negative number before we start the run. To see what timing best fits you, I've linked the DSTA sheet in the description. I would also recommend rebinding your controller. Most runners keep everything the same, but change the L button to have the function as pressing down the right analog stick. That way, when Mario goes into first person, we can press L as fast as possible. Make sure that your game is in simplified Chinese, as that is the fastest language, and that your Joy-Cons are detached from your Switch, as having your Joy-Cons attached makes the loading slower. Also, I'm going to reiterate that any additional information will be put in the description of this video, and if you want to contact me about anything, the best way to do so is to either join my Discord or by leaving a comment on this video. The beginning of Cap is pretty straightforward. We want to make sure that throughout the run, Mario is taking straight lines toward any destination that he might be rolling to. It sounds obvious, but just taking straight lines can save time. After skipping this cutscene, we are going to be doing something called a buffered spin pound. Right before you skip the cutscene here, you are going to want to start spinning the left analog stick. Doing this allows you to initiate a spin pound faster when the cutscene is over. When we approach this lever here, we are going to want to spin, throw, jump, dive, and then first person or press L when Mario hits the ground. Doing this saves a second as the cutscene animation shrinks by counteracting it with the first person. When you are rolling to the frog room, make sure that you land on this rail here. There are multiple ways of getting to the frog, but I'd personally recommend getting in the habit of doing a small trick called water roll. There are multiple ways to get the roll boost in the water, but I find the method I used here to be the most consistent. This method being that I press Y as I approach the slope so that I do a non-motion control roll instead of timing a motion control roll. Controlling the frog takes a bit of practice, but you want to make sure that you are vectoring or moving the frog side to side by doing big motion control jumps. Now left side can be pretty tricky as there are so many ways to do this jump. I'll touch on a more advanced method when I get into the world record analysis of cap, but I'd honestly just recommend doing what I displayed or doing this method of left side. Topper can also be a bit tricky to do fast at first, but you can either do a roll into long jump and then cap throw to knock his hats off, or you can do a dive, jump, and cap throw to knock his hats off. For the second phase, just dive onto Topper, and then when you land on Topper, just spin throw and dive again. You're going to notice how I don't spin pound at the beginning. That's because you won't really save time with it when you're just coming out of a cutscene and on flat ground. I roll on this tiny rock here and do a single jump when I am fully on top of it. You can also just do a double jump here. Spin throw the chain jump here, dive out of it, and collect the spoon. Now DSS or Dino Skip Skip is the first big trick in the run and also one of the hardest tricks, so I wouldn't recommend going for it unless you are either very consistent at it or starting to approach sub-hour. Regardless, if you're starting to do it in runs, don't reset if you don't get it on the first try. Getting it second try still saves you 2 to 3 seconds, and if you get it third try, you can still make DSTA in certain cases. I have a full in-depth guide to DSS by the man Tyrone18 linked in the description. When you make it up from DSS, you can can either just spin pound on the rock and cap jump up, or you can do it slightly faster but more risky, which is triple jump up the rock to make it up. Roll your way over to Madame Brutal. Make sure you collect coins, as you're going to want to have 100 by the time you get out of sand, and collect the multi-moon. Now if you really want to go up and beyond, you can go for a trick here called chest clip. This only saves a second to getting the other moon, so you're going to want to make sure your movement and consistency is on point. Just spin pound and roll over here, jump down, and then dive into the little alcove without landing in the water like I did here. Then open the chest, turn around, backflip while holding neutral, and then push up on the stick and cap throw. You will see that Mario does a bit of an up warp if you get it, which pushes him out of the wall. If you get it, just cap dive over to the globe and spin throw. Start rolling towards the pot and angle Mario so that the seed lands in the left pot. This will make the reverse town movement way easier. Once you get employees, spin pound and then spin throw the seed to break it open. Do a backflip and then dive into the moon. We're aiming for height here so that we aren't too low to dive up to the pipe. After getting the moon at the top of the town, roll down here and do a triple jump to get this bird. Make sure to do a homing cap throw here so that you can stall in the air as much as possible. After that, you're going to want to roll over to the dune moon. Doing this roll cancel into spin pound is fastest. Roll over to the archway, get the moon, then do what we like to call DRAM strat. Make sure that when you're doing DRAM that you are 1, not too close or far away. What's demonstrated in the video is a good distance, but it isn't too tight, and 2, that the platform above doesn't prevent Cappy from capturing the bullet bill. The camera is what influences where the platform is and isn't. When you make it back up, exit out of the bullet bill and break the crate either with a spin pound or by holding out Cappy with a spin throw. Make sure the bullet bill is aimed more left than right when you exit, so you have an easier time capturing it after breaking the crate. When you are in the bullet bill, make sure to release Y after the first shake as it makes you go faster. Make your way over to the treasure moon. I recommend doing a roll cancel triple jump so that way you get your cap back when you land and make it up. Make sure that you grab the 50 coins in this chest. When getting these next few moons, be cautious of your camera as you're going to want to have the platform in a good position to do platform clip. It could depend, but in this situation, I kept the camera down to be safe, then lifted it a bit so the platform could be a bit closer. For the actual platform clip, a good visual cue for letting go is when the platform hits this dot. After letting go of the ledge grab, wall slide and cap throw the clip in so that we can head over to this moon. Stay out of bounds and do 2 dives over to the Sphinx loading zone. Get the moon, grab some coins, and then exit the Sphinx room and roll over to the luggage moon and warp back to the Odyssey. Before I get into the explanation for Lake, I just want to note that normally there will be a text box after you warp from Lake clip, but there wasn't in my footage as I had accidentally grabbed a checkpoint. As we start Lake, you're going to want to buffer a spin pound so that you can roll right over to this moon. Vault up to this platform and you make your way over to the zipper moon. Now for Lake clip, I find it to be most consistent to spin pound after you get the moon. Roll cancel, and then tilt Mario up. You want Mario's shadow to be directly in the center of this line in the wall. If you are too far right, you will roll away. If you are too far left, Cappy might clip through the wall, but Mario will not, and that is what we like to call a fake clip. Once you get the clip, I recommend ground pounding to the right and then holding up left to cap dive over to this wall. Wall jump and make sure to up throw to get the checkpoint and collect the chest. For more information on lake clip, I have a video on it linked in the description. Warp up to the painting moon, hold down to this moon, and then capture the cheap after collecting it. Make sure to take straight lines using a fish while you're going to the pillar moon. Make your way over to this area and collect the final moon. Roll with the rock in hand and do a double jump here to get the bunny. After landing from your double jump, throw the rock onto the other and make your way to the shop. Make sure to do it first person before you talk to the shop owner. As you make your way to the uproot moon, make sure to tilt your camera up a bit so that the uproot spawns faster. I like doing a triple jump followed by a Sharane bounce, which is then followed up by a spin pound and another Sharane bounce, but there's plenty of ways to get up. With the uproot, you are able to actually save some good time if you can get a good uproot boost. In this situation, you are able to get uproot boosts pretty consistently by just mini hopping off the slope of its spawner and then chaining hops to maintain speed. After the uproot moon, we make our way to the nut moon where we would be performing nut clip. For nut clip, you're going to want to hit the nut twice, then turn, backflip, and then backflip again to do a moon warp here. There's an audio cue that can be used here for timing the second backflip. For a more detailed explanation on it, I have a nut clip tutorial and rhythm linked in the description. When you make it out of bounds, land on this slither of land here. I did an extra cap throw to be safe, but it's faster to eliminate any unnecessary cap throws. Backflip, throw out Cappy, then dive into Cappy. Once you get the Sharane bounce, wall jump, and then near the peak of your wall jump, dive into the small crevice here as fast as possible. Now to get this moon, most people will just run off and then hold back and wall jump. However, a slightly faster but more risky method is doing a long jump here. What I do to get this consistent is when I long jump, I start to hold back on the stick and then throw Cappy right before I'm about to hit the moon. Make your way up and we're going to be doing a trick called triple jump ramp. As the name implies, we are going to be getting a triple jump off of this ramp here so you can make it up without doing a wall jump. Mash the jump button to get up the ramp as usual, but as you are approaching the jumping point, stop mashing A and tap it 3 times to do a triple jump. I tend to hold out my last jump with a long button press. Make your way to this nut moon, roll cancel down to this nut moon, and then use the uproot to get this nut moon. As I mentioned earlier, you can use slopes to gain uproot speed. In this case, we can use the uproot spawner to gain a slither of speed. Exit out of the uproot and do a tight roll cancel to make it over here. Now this next section of movement is tricky but very fast and consistent once you get it down. I roll twice here, but on the last roll I do a roll cancel and then a triple jump followed by another triple jump on the rail. Make sure you face your camera in the direction of the slope we are going to be landing on and hold right. Triple jump off of this slope and spin pound the nut. After you get the nut, do 2 rolls off of this slope, long jump onto this rail, and then do a tiny triple jump for Flower Road skip so that you can make your way up to this nut. After getting the nut, just roll your way over to the tower and capture this uproot over here. We will use the uproot spawner once again to gain some speed and quickly collect the 2 power moons in the tower. Now instead of fighting Spirit here, we are going to be doing a spin pound off of the top of the tower and vectoring down below. There's a few ways to land here. I like to aim for the bird, but the easiest is to land on the robot. You can also buffer a jump here and land on the ground, or even just spamming the jump button before you hit the ground works. Triple jump up to this nut moon, one way or another. I like to do a Sharane bounce here while holding neutral. After that, make your way over to the pipes sub area. I use some clever movement to get in here. Now there's a more advanced way of doing this sub area, but I just recommend going for the normal movement as the advanced way barely saves any time. When I do my world record analysis, I'll fill in those small gaps. Now for Cloud, there's a few small but easy time saves we are going to be picking up on. At the beginning here, you will notice I get a very large Cloud boost. This is hard to pull off consistently, but getting any type of boost can be consistent with a spin throw roll cancel. The trick here is that you want to be near where the edge of the cloud is going to pop out, after Cappy comes in contact with the cloud. Now we're going to be doing fast hats here, but after the first phase, make sure you grab this hint art as we will be using these coins to buy the shot moon and snow. I like to use these two lines as my visual cue for the hint art. If you miss it, then you can get the hint art in Metro as a backup. Also, when doing fast hats, make sure you are manipulating Bowser, aka you are hitting him from the angle as shown in the video, so that instead of him landing on the circle next to him, he lands one circle over. For more explanation on fast hats itself, I have a link for it in the description. We're going to start off Lost by doing what is called Meme Tree. In this footage I do Dive Vault Meme Tree, which is the fastest way of doing it but can also be a bit tricky. I cap throw through this leaf here so that when I throw Cappy again onto the tree, Mario is well lined up to roll off of Cappy. Do an up throw roll cancel here, followed up by a triple jump to land onto this moon. Now to collect this bird, I do some tricky tech where I do an up throw roll cancel jump, cap dive, and then cap dive again to hit the bird. This is the fastest method, but you can also do a triple jump dive or replace the up throw roll cancel with a double jump. Make your way down to this moon, then move your way over to this moon and leave Cappy out before you grab it so that you can get a quick cap return over to the tree moon. Make sure to trigger Klepto here and then grab this moon. Now here we are going to be doing a trick called reverse Trebeetle. I do a roll cancel here so the Trebeetle captures my hat and then a spin pound down to the moon. After I get the moon, I walk for a bit and then do a wall jump here. If you go too fast, it will not hit the right block. If you go too slow, well, you guessed it, it won't work. After getting the block moon, give your hat to the Trebeetle here and then time a triple jump off of this tree, land right next to the cage. Roll down to this moon and then use an up throw against the wall to get back onto land and roll your way over to the Odyssey.
Hey! Bowser! Yeah, brought me the balloon. I mean, see that?
Buffer is spin pound and make your way to this bouncy thing. Make sure to do a regular dive on it and then space Mario a bit away from the wall so that you can Sharane bounce your way up here. After that, do a triple jump to this moon. Land on this building and roll off of it so that you can do a cat bounce onto this Goomba. Capture the electrical wire, exit out of it, and then do a motion control roll cancel and roll your way over to the City Hall. Now for City Hall, we are going to do a little trick called Goomba Frick. I find it easiest to just do a spin throw roll cancel, triple jump, so when I land on the platform over here, I can just do a cap throw to get rid of the Goombas. Give Mario enough distance to Sharane bounce off of the wall, and then do another Sharane bounce to get up to this pole. Just spam the jump button to make your way up to this chest, and then exit out of the City Hall. Make sure to grab this checkpoint, and then initiate the Mecha Wiggler fight. Now the first phase is pretty straightforward. We are just going to want to take advantage of our motion control camera and aiming skills. You should be able to clear it out in 3 shots, aiming for the center of each group of 3 while moving right to left. Hug the wall as you are doing the fight so that this phase ends quicker, and get ready for the second phase. Now the second phase of Mecha Wiggler is RNG or luck dependent, but if you are good at recognizing patterns and dealing with them, then you'll be able to get a good Mecha Wiggler pattern every time and not lose much time when you get a bad pattern. A few tips for Mecha Wiggler are making sure that you get rid of the balls that he shoots at you. Don't spend all your time getting every single one, just focus on the ones that get in the way of your line of vision. Second of all, make sure that you're not too close to the Wiggler, but also not too far. For the patterns themselves, I have a short video by Top Runner Goryuya linked in the description that shows how to optimally deal with every Mecha Wiggler pattern possible. Buffer is spin pound and make your way to this moon in the girder. Make sure you throw Cappy out so that you can home in on the pylon. Roll onto the scooter and perform drive-by scooter clip. To perform drive-by scooter clip, I normally start off by holding hard left and recentering the camera so I can take a straight line to the moon. Make sure you are holding your entire controller sideways when you approach the moon, and then tap left when you press by the cage. If you go too far left and bonk into the cage, just nudge Mario to the right and perform it as normal. If you miss because you went too far right, just turn the camera around, bonk it to the edge of the cage, and back it up that way. For more info on Scooter Clip, I have a tutorial for it linked in the description. Jump onto the awning, capture the pole, then throw Cappy out so that you can home into this pole after getting the garbage moon. Fling yourself onto the bench and collect the bench moon. Spin pound off of the bench and spin throw this pole. If the taxi is in your way, just avoid capturing the pole and roll over to the crate. Collect this girder moon and make your way into slots. Now I do a fancy roll cancel here, but you just want to make sure Mario is on the top left corner of the carpet here. Once you pay to do slots, hold up left, spin throw, and jump. It takes a bit of time to practice, but once you get it down, you can do the same thing for slots and Luncheon as well. Exit slots, capture this pole, and then roll into the bullet building sub area. I start off bullet building by holding up right and moving toward the side of the pole. I jump off of this pole onto the pole, and then cap jump onto this pole so I can make it over to the garbage can moon. After that, I tilt the camera up and do a quick cap dive, followed by another to get a cap return off of the ground, and then hold out an up throw to capture the bullet bill and collect this moon. After bullet building, you're going to want to warp to this checkpoint that we collected earlier. Do a roll cancel triple jump to make your way over to the garbage moon, then dive over to this moon and capture the spark pylon. As you're going up, point the camera down and do a sequence of backflips and dives to make it up. I normally nudge Mario slightly to the left when doing the first backflip, as that's what works best for me. Make sure when you get the moon, you are in a good position so that you can spin pound off the top of the building and collect this moon. After getting the moon, aim for the rail so that you can roll off of it, and then ground pound onto the moon. I honestly just have a feel for it, but the exact location of the moon is on this square. Make your way over to the people's room, collect the 2 moons, and then warp to the Odyssey. Start off by rolling off the edge here and then letting go of the roll button so that Mario can get a bit of running speed here and roll back right into the water. This tech is called a clap fire. You are able to temporarily maintain Mario's speed to be higher than usual by landing in this spot and letting go off roll for a bit. Make your way to Captain Toad and talk to him with a roll cancel. Make sure Cappy doesn't hit Toad, otherwise you'll have to wait to talk to him. Do 3 rolls in this direction here, and then triple jump up and roll cancel ground pound into the hole here. Make your way onto these boxes as so and collect this moon. Bounce on the umbrella and wall jump off the bridge here so you can quickly dive onto it while also doing a spin throw to open the chest. Roll your way over to this moon over here and position yourself for a moon clip. Make sure Mario is facing opposite of the wall. If you get the moon clip, throw Cappy to turn around and then ground pound and roll into the loading zone. There's a few strats you can do here for this next section. I find it easiest to just make your way over to the platform as fast as possible and then do a spin pound when the Taifu blows the platform. After you get the moon, capture this Taifu and blow all of the Spinies off except for the one in the middle. It's okay if you blow them all off at once, as Spiny position isn't always the same, but usually if you do the left to right blowing, you'll have one Spiny remaining, which is ideal because it saves a slither of time. Roll cancel to hit the Spiny off and grab the moon. Make your way over to this sub area and capture the Goomba. As you're getting the 4 Goombas to hit the switch, vector your Goomba jumps to gain speed here. When you're about to land on the switch, uncapture the Goomba and dive towards the moon. Roll cancel and triple jump to the other moon, wait for the cutscene to play out, and then get the shop moon and warp to the Odyssey. Now for Snow Jam, I recommend when you're first learning it to do the setup, but eventually get in the habit of doing it without the setup. I find it most consistent to land near where this line is, throw out Cappy, and then hold left until Mario is facing straight onto the platform where we will be landing on. Throw out Cappy and vector a little bit while doing a rainbow spin and whatnot, instead of just having a straight line. Vectoring just a tiny amount makes this trick a lot more lenient. Get the chest moon, and then make it back to the Odyssey without missing the globe like I did here. Dive and do a triple jump Sharane bounce to make it up here, and then backflip and wall jump up here to get this moon. Spin pound and roll into the pipe to get this moon. After that, make your way up here with a motion control cap throw, or you can just do a regular cap throw, but do a motion control cap throw secures you a bit more of height so that way you could quickly dive up without worrying about bonking. Long jump and hold out an up throw using the ceiling so you can quickly dive into Cappy and then dive again into the moon. Spin pound down and make your way over to the Cheep Cheep. Make sure to let go of the stick right before Mario hits the water and then hold it again when Mario is submerged. Otherwise, Mario will float in the water for a second or two, losing you a bit of time. Make sure to take straight lines and shake your way over to the Treasure Moon. We're going to be doing a trick here with the Cheep Cheep that uses the Treasure Moon to get out of bounds. This can be a bit difficult at first, but with practice it is very consistent. I'll have a tutorial for this linked in the description, but I'll do my best to explain how I personally do it. Positioning matters here, so I take the Cheep Cheep over here, bonk against the wall, and then bonk against the floor here. After the second bonk, I wait just a tad bit to control the Cheep Cheep, typically when the Cheep Cheep is starting to face towards the wall again, and then shake. And technically it's possible to do it with only one bonk here, but for whatever reason, doing the bonk against the wall and then doing the bonk against the floor makes it a lot more consistent. Be careful while getting the treasure moon here, as it is very easy to clip back into bounds. After that, make your way over to this moon and make sure to stay out of bounds. Finally, clip back into bounds and shake to get this moon. Get the dory moon, this moon, and then set yourself up for fish clip. It's fastest to turn the fish around in this direction while doing fish clip. Swim your way down to grab this moon, and then go into the loading zone to grab this moon. Warp back to the Odyssey. Start off by buffering a spin pound and then triple jump your way up to collect this moon. Roll along this path and roll off of this left corner. Followed it up with a triple jump and a dive to collect this moon. Make sure you grab the top of the moon so that you can cat bounce up without touching the ground. Now for Spiritless, I like to do a spin pound, roll cancel, and then triple jump to make it to the other side without triggering the spirit fight. Dive around this area, do 2 rolls, and then make your way into the sub area to grab this moon. Now for this section I do forkless. As the name implies, I scale this mountain without the use of a fork. I spin pound, dive onto this slither of the mountain, then roll my way across while trying to keep Mario in a straight line, and then roll cancel with Cappy held out so I can land on this pillar and make it up to this moon. After that, roll down into here and utilize the same strategy for slots as Metro, only this time make sure that you turn Mario to the right faster, as there is less room to screw up on this one. Exit slots and triple jump your way up to this moon. Do a roll cancel here and roll your way over to this moon on a salt pile. After that, use Cappy to damage boost over to the fork sub area. For forks, turn your camera up here and then up throw this fork. Spin throw this to reach the next fork and keep using up throws or homing cap throws to make it up until we get to this fork. Now to get the secret moon, just hold left and keep holding left after you shake the fork so that Mario can make it up. Grab the other moon and exit the area. Hold neutral and up throw against the ceiling to dive into Cappy so that we can wall jump here and then dive vault to cross as much distance as possible. Lava boost your way up to this platform and then grab the turnip in the middle and throw it as you are grabbing the moon. Roll cancel into the turnip so that you can grab it while maintaining speed and triple jump your way over here and throw the turnip so that we can grab this turnip and put both of them in the pot. Set up a vault before you grab the second turnip moon and get this shop moon. Exit shop, do a spin pound, cap throw, and then homing cap throw to break this crate. Grab the top of the moon so that you have enough height to dive over here, and we're going to be doing a hard jump called Invis Block Jump. I recommend triple jumping off the edge here, and then when you do your rainbow spin, nudge Mario to the right, and you should be able to land on it every time. Long jump off of the block to land over here, do a dive vault, and then jump your way over to spin pound this moon. One thing I do notice is that if you spin pound within the first few frames, you'll have to spin pound again for the moon to pop out. So go fast, not frame perfect fast. After you get this moon, I use some clever movement to make my way over to the lava bubble sub area. As you enter, immediately do a spin throw roll cancel to capture this lava bubble, jump, shake, jump, and then shake onto the spaghetti sauce and jump your way up to this moon. I tilt my camera up here as it makes it faster to grab the moon here. Shake your way down here and then keep going until you make it to the other side. Uncapture the lava bubble and dive out of it to the moon. After that, warp to the Odyssey, climb on top of the Odyssey, spin throw, roll cancel the scarecrow, grab the moon, then globe. Ruined is pretty straightforward and not much changes compared to a beginner, but invisible time save can actually rack up pretty quickly even in this auto scroller of a fight. However, I do have a few tips and tricks to help. First of all, to get a fast cutscene skip at the beginning of the fight, I recommend doing a roll and then instantly spam the cutscene skip buttons when Mario finishes a roll as shown here. Second of all, use regular cap throws to hit the dragon's sword, but chain them closely next to each other and get ready for a spin pound as you're getting the last sword on each phase. Making it to the ogre is pretty straightforward until we reach the second island here. There's plenty of ways to do this as for most things in this game, but I like to do a roll cancel into triple jump Sharani bounce, followed up by a spin throw to reach the spark pylon. Then for this section, I do a triple jump off this rail, and then I spin pound and roll under the ogre's hammer so I can quickly get rid of him. The spin pound helps make it more consistent for me. Make your way over to the shards for some advanced movement, do a few rolls, spin pound, and then get this shard and roll back on the platform. The second shard can be difficult to get, but if I'm going to be honest, it just takes some good stick control. I like to use a triple jump followed by a motion control cap throw here, so I can easily get this third shard and scale my way up to this fourth shard. Roll your way over to this bird and stop right about here so that the bird pokes the block for you and grab the last shard. If you mess up any part of the advanced shards movement, I recommend just capturing the bird for the last shard, as the bomb cycles as well as the bird's position change. Make your way up here and hold Cappy out so that we can home into the spark pylon after we grab this moon. When you dive out of the spark pylon here, make sure you are holding right during the entire thing so that Mario has a straight on line to the next spark pylon. Now, it doesn't matter which bunny you decide to go to first, but I personally just do Topper first. Not too much to note about Topper here, but Harriet is where things get tricky. Now, there's a strat that you can do here called Furriet, which allows Harriet to be defeated faster with a clever use of the camera. For the first phase, I nudge Mario to the right and aim the camera here, using the right analog stick icon being on the edge of the right door here as a visual cue. Make sure before the second phase that you collect the coins here just for Cappy's safety purposes. For phase 2 and 3, I use the right analog stick against the edge of the left crate here as a visual cue. There's also an even faster strat that you can do here called Sarbomba, but I recommend learning and getting Furriet down first. I have a tutorial on how to do Sarbomba linked in the description. Do a triple jump here and break open the crate to get this moon. Enter the pipe and do some movement so that we can capture the bird here. Make sure that when you are scaling the wall, that you're doing big shakes and that you are aiming the bird before you do the actual shake. Otherwise, the bird will only go up and not move in the direction you want. As we make our way to the mech fight, I'm going to be showing off most of the advanced strats here. For the small gaps that I miss, I will be explaining in my world record analysis. Make sure when you skip the cutscene here that you are light on your A press so that you don't buffer a jump on accident. Backflip onto the leg here and then spin pound onto Rango. Try to make it back up to the top of the mech so that we could spin pound directly onto Topper. Make your way near the top of the mech so that we just direct it into the wall, and then when it makes its way back to the center, start buffering a spin pound so that we can instantly hit Harriet when she is able to be hit again. Line Mario up on this line and then quickly spin pound on the Spirit to finish the mech off. Now we make our way to Moon. Take advantage of moon gravity to make your way over to these rocket flowers. Capture both of them, vector over until you can spin pound the Sphinx. Now you can do moon skip with one wall jump, and it does save a bit of time, but I just do the good old moon skip here with some tight movement. Make your way to the chapel and take advantage of the Bowser manips the same way we did in Cloud. Also make sure that you are following Bowser's flame here, or at least staying kind of close to it, because otherwise he will start it over again, losing a few seconds. Now we make our way to the final section of the run. Make sure that we are doing as much fireballs here as possible, and only claw when you are right next to something. Now there's something we could do here called 2DSS or 2D section skip. If you like torturing yourself, you can learn it. Otherwise, make your way through the 2D section and approach the pillars section. Pillars can be very optimized, and it requires a lot of good camera and Bowser control. I did 5 shots on this first pillar, but I recommend 6 to be safe. Do 2 fireballs on the second pillar and swipe the pillar down. Fireball the third pillar, and then I like to jump and fireball this fourth one. I have the faster version of pillars linked in the description. There's even a mod you can use to practice this, which is located in the Super Mario Odyssey community Discord alongside any other mods.